Hello, welcome to the build guide for the Asari Huntress. Um, if you hate melee builds under all circumstances, I'm sorry. This is going to be a melee build. I'm guessing that most people didn't really think melee when they looked at this skill tree. I know I don't really see other people using this spec. So hopefully if you like things that are different, you like this one. It's definitely a lot of fun to play. I wouldn't say it's like an S tier class or anything, it's not like overpowered, but it is just an absolute blast to play. So much fun. I'm going to go start at the bottom actually. We're going to max out barrier. Rank 4, we're going to want the max shields. The regeneration delay, it's not really going to matter. We're going to be refilling our shields through other means, so having a bigger max is going to be more beneficial for sure. And rank 5, since this is a melee build, we're going to want that extra melee damage and shields being restored on melee. Again, being part of the reason we don't need the regen thing, because we're going to get shields when we melee stuff, and by having a bigger pool, for your max shields, when you restore 20%, that amount of shields is a larger number, so just kind of keep that in mind. And then on rank 6, we're not going to be taking the shields on biotic kills. Instead, we're just going to take this, make it so that if we get to low health, 25% to be exact, we'll get full shields. You can rely on this pretty handily. If you get into a sticky situation after it procs once and you don't think it's been 10 seconds yet, you've got stealth to cover your ass there. So, in offensive biotics, in rank 4, we're not going to take the power damage and force. Instead, we're going to take the recharge speed. Our abilities are going to be useful, but not necessarily for the damage they provide. That's just a little icing on the cake. So we definitely want them recharging as fast as possible. In rank 5, we're going to take weapon and melee damage. So this class, honestly, is almost identical to the Asari Adept. One of the differences, though, is that this tier right here, for the Adept, it's exposure, which makes enemies take more damage under the effect of biotics. So this is something that the Adept doesn't have, and it kind of highlights one of the differences between the two, basically. The Adept is going to provide those debuffs to things around it with Annihilation. This character is going to have just more damage and more damage. And then the other difference being Stealth Grid versus Annihilation Field. The combo damage and radius, maybe you could make a case for it if they buff combos, but right now the top one's definitely better. And then in rank 6, this is going to be one of the key to the builds, basically. Increase weapon and melee damage for 3 seconds after using a biotic power. During this time, melee attacks also knock down unarmored, unshielded, standard-sized enemies. So what this is going to do is make it so your primary attack, basically, is that you're going to launch a power, and then try to melee 3 times, and then launch a power, and then melee 3 times. That's the goal, basically. You're going to be doing a lot more damage once you have this buff up, and the knockdown is going to prevent enemies from doing anything once you attack them once. So always try and have this up. Like, you don't want to, and there's no reason you should be meleeing without that up first. Lance, we're not going to need any points in. This was actually a really tough choice between Stealth Grid or Lance. You could probably make a case for going for Lance instead of Stealth Grid, but I prefer this setup. And speaking of Stealth Grid, sorry. Hope that wasn't too loud in the final recording, but whatever. Rank 4, power cells instead of radius. The radius, sorry team, we'll help you out with this if you're nearby, but we're going to want the power cells. We're going to be using stealth more selfishly than selflessly, unless we're going to revive you or activate devices or something. We're going to take shield grid on rank 5 because it's going to make it so not only can stealth get you out of a sticky situation, but actually get you back to full shields while you are hidden. And especially with the patch today that made it so devices don't take as long to complete, you're not going to need rank 5's duration. And then in rank 6, I guess I don't really have too much reasoning for this choice. Ambush Grid fits the playstyle more, I guess, and Evasive Grid just doesn't seem like that needed. If I weren't going to take Ambush Grid, I'd probably swap those points into Lance. So that's just going to make it so our first attack out of stealth does more damage, no matter what type of attack it is. You'll notice this is actually a different like disbursement of amounts than some other infiltrators, so like keep that in mind. Like some are stronger than others depending on which class you're playing. And there's something else I was going to say about that, but I don't know. Anyway, Stealth Grid, pretty self-explanatory. If you've done any other stealth class, revive teammates, activate devices, get out of sticky situations, get your health back, and do more damage. Oh yeah, the other thing, you're not going to have combat quota as an option, so it's only going to be your first attack out of stealth that's affected, not for 2 seconds afterwards. And then for throw, choice between radius and damage and force. Go with damage and force. You're going to have an easier time knocking stuff off ledges, which is a blast. Try it, it's awesome. Rank 5, duration, pointless. Recharge speed, awesome. Take recharge speed. And then for rank 6, either watch 2 or recharge faster and do more combo damage. This build is going to be able to set off combos left and right, so being able to do more damage on them doesn't hurt, and having a faster recharge speed just means better uptime on, on Biotic Warrior. So have it recharge as fast as possible. Now that this updates, you'll have 6-second recharge speed on that, and 10 seconds on Lance. You will have no problem keeping up your buff at all times, so that you're doing as much melee damage as possible. For your boosters, I would definitely want a strength enhancer, kind of mandatory, and then I actually like to run this with a shotgun ray lamp as well. So if you don't want to do a shotgun ray lamp, that's your choice, but definitely want the melee one. As far as weapon, the Don, or the Dan, or whatever it is, vastly underappreciated weapon, I would say. It only has 2 shots in the magazine, but it does good damage. Not, amazing, not overpowered, but good. 684, so pretty good. You can shoot them pretty quick in succession, and they stagger. So anything that's not a berserker or larger, basically, will get staggered from a shot from this, which means you have an easier time closing the gap on them to get into melee range. So that's really what this functions as. It actually does have long range, so you use it as a ranged attack option, or something to kill observers, because melee classes have a hard time with them. And just kind of be mindful of the 2-clip size. You're not going to be weaving shots like you do with the duelist all the time, because you only got 2 shots. But make them count. It is super useful, and yeah, use this gun. Oh yeah, and the shotgun melee optimizer is 33% melee. In case you didn't know, the pistol one, 29. So there's a 4% difference there. If that's going to make or break it to you, not my call, but it is a difference that you could be aware of. So the shotgun will give you a little bit more melee damage as well. Is that about it? I think that might be about it. Oh yeah, and a jug shield. Use a juggernaut shield. Yeah, so you basically just run around punching stuff. You use throw to stagger enemies, and as like a ranged attack option, similarly with Lance, ranged attack option, as well as primer for, or not primer, but like setup for your passive here, your Biotic Warrior. And it's really, I mean, that's all you do. You just spam throw and Lance like crazy and punch stuff, and that's all it takes, and you're going to do pretty well. Saving Barrier is going to keep you alive, Barrier Drain is going to keep you alive, and Stealth Grid for when things get really hairy. So, there's a lot of cool stuff with like the ragdoll physics that goes on with how often you're going to be knocking things down or setting off combos and stuff, and definitely make use of your jumping melee attack. So if you want to see it in action, watch the gameplay video. It's easier than me telling you, you know, how to play it. So this is the build. Check out the gameplay and enjoy this class. Like I said, it's not overpowered, it's not like one of the best in the game, but it is effective in gold and it is so much fun to play. So thanks for watching. See you guys later.